Welcome back. And I know you're going to be surprised that in a class that's all about writing your own code, we're going to take a minute to show you how to not have to write your own code. It is actually possible to get third-party control components, and really they come in two flavors. One really great way to get help, to get free code, is by going to communities and downloading user components. Another is by going into Asset Manager and downloading plugins from Asset Manager. And if you're like me, when I started, Asset Manager had like 4 plugins. Now it seems to be there's 4 plugins a week that are being announced. So much helpful free code out there. Let's actually go grab some of these to deploy into our system. Let's start off by going to communities. So open a browser, here's mine, and go to communities, which by the way is developers.qsc.com. Once you get there, you will be prompted to log in, which you have a login. If you're taking this class, you have the same credential to log into communities there. What we are looking for, if you look at your displays back over here, there's information. And one of the first things to notice here is, hey, right there, that's how you spell the name of the televisions that we are looking for. Kolarczyk. Our friend Scott Kolarczyk has been with Q-SYS for a long time. And we have honored him by making Kolarczyk televisions in his name. And so we want to find the controller for it. So come back into communities, and I'm pasting in the word Kolarczyk because I copied and pasted it out of the designer. And what you will see is, hey, we actually on this repo have a Kolarczyk TV control. Click on it, and we can see what we're going to get. We're going to get some code that looks like this, a user component. Super handy. We're going to click View on Repo. Once you finally get to this page, there's lots of things to look around and see, but what you really want is, probably different ways to do it, but the easiest way is to come right here to Downloads and to download the repository. And you will see that it downloads to your Downloads folder. So in your Downloads folder, then you unzip it. It will open. There you go. And double click, and on the inside, what you will see is there is a file called Kolarczyk TV Control, which the type is Q-SYS user component. That's what we need. Double click it, and you will get prompted to perform an installation. Would you like to install the user component? Yes, I sure would. Click yes, and what happens is, down here in your user components, it automatically pops up as installed. So what actually happens is this user component gets automatically installed into your Q-SYS designer folder. That's basically the same area where you saw that we put the style sheets in a previous video. It's in that same neighborhood. So let's actually deploy these. So you just drag them into your design. And since we have 2 televisions, we're going to bring in 2 of them. And we can notice here that our televisions are told that they have certain configurations. The Kolarczyk televisions are controlled via TCP. That's good to know. The left display is at 127.0.0.1 on port 5101. And the right display is at 127.0.0.1 on port 5102. Now, again, this is an instance of us pretending. Obviously, 127.0.0.1 is our home loopback address. Normally, what would happen is you would have probably the televisions on the same port on different IP addresses. But because we're doing the magic in your design file, we're taking this approach. Let's open our Kolarczyk televisions, and let's configure them appropriately. If we go online, that's good. and put in the IP address 127.0.0.1 and port 5101. And look at that, we have become connected. If we also pull up our emulator, we also can turn on our television. Also, we can turn the lights on for the good people in that conference room. But we can see that we are now able to turn on and off the left television. Let's make the right television work. Right? Works very similarly. We're going to enter the configuration 127.0.0.1 port 5102. And with that, the green means good, we're connected. And so we can turn the right television on and off as well. So there's on, there's off, that's good. Before we move forward with the televisions, let's also go into Asset Manager to download a plugin to control our wireless presentation device. Our wireless presentation device is a immersive Solstice pod. So let's go to Asset Manager. That's the little puzzle piece. So as we click on it, it will open. And as I said, there are lots and lots and lots of plugins these days. Lots more plugins than when I started using Q-SYS Designer back in the day. And there's a couple different ways to navigate this. You could search. You also can just grab and scroll down until you find right here, Immersive Solstice Pod. And when we install, it will automatically download and will land in our plugins area. So let's deploy it. Here you go. In the plugins, come to Asset Manager, come to Enterprise Manager, come to Immersive, and deploy the Immersive Solstice Pod. Within this Solstice Pod plugin, you can see that there's all kinds of configurations that you can use to help bring your device onto your network and other device configurations and such. Plugins are wonderful and you should use them as frequently as you are able to do so. They really, really help and they're free generally. If they're in the Asset Manager, they're going to be free and they are supported. They're really good. They're what you should use. As we're wrapping this video up, one of the last things to remind you about user components from communities versus plugins is that plugins and Asset Manager, they have version control, which partly means is that when there is a new version, you will automatically get notified that you can update to the new version of the plugin. Whereas in communities, there's no mechanism to let you know. You have to be aware of the code that you use. So one more thing about why plugins are really great, but also it's wonderful to be a part of a community that supports each other. With that, we're gonna take a little break, and when we come back, we will start making use of particularly these Calarchic TV user components to continue on with our control scope of work. With that, take a little break. We'll see you in just a moment.